Welcome back to the Fake Friends podcast. Thank you for joining us on episode 9. How we doing today?
9?
Episode 9.
Rolling along.
Almost at the inaugural 10.
Yep, we're rolling along. I like it. We're good, Got the hood on again because we got some rain coming down. But so other than that, it's a great day. It's a great day.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
we definitely wanted to have an episode out sooner than a week apart, but due to some absolute devastating weather that took out the power at my place for like half the week, here we are. But yeah, man, everything's going good. Just eating some Halloween candy, so pretty fired up about that. Yeah.
That's the one thing about having kids too. You get to eat all their candy.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. You send them out to go trick or treat, and they come back. They bring you back.
Yeah. Yep. Fantastic.
Mad random, but I remember last episode we briefly talking like movies, and I mentioned that Dune movie and like how they didn't have a sequel yet, like confirmed. Excuse me. And then literally like 2 hours after we stopped recording that episode, they released. I sent it to you. They're like, "Oh yeah, like Dune 2 confirmed, like October 2023." I'm like, "Why couldn't you said this like 3 hours ago?" Yeah, man. Been chilling, watching the World Series.
World Series is wild, huh?
Only maybe 2 more games left. That's been a lot of fun. Also, not to say that we want to constantly be talking about crypto, but the SHIB army is surviving. Yep, holding the line strong. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we can see it. Hopefully we can see another game there. The whole crypto market's been going crazy. I remember. I remember we bought into Decentraland probably back in like March or something.
I bought that for 30 cents.
Yeah, and I had 173 tokens, coins, and I saw it hop up to like $4. And well, that was actually after I sold, but I sold at like a little over $3, so I got some good gains there. That was booming. A lot of coins booming. It's crazy.
That time of year, I guess, huh?
That's what they call it, altcoin season.
That time of year, yeah. The Decentraland, like I told you too. I think that was. I don't know if it was organic or kind of just a hype because of Facebook rebranding, which is also interesting in this whole metaverse.
Oh yeah, the Matrix, dude. Did you see that video? Did you watch that video they did?
I didn't see the video,
dude.
But they're doing like this alternative reality thing, basically. So I know that was kind of the boom behind Decentraland and that rise, but
yeah,
like I said,
coins in that realm.
Other coins in that realm. But I mean, for me, I think I just kind of when I bought it, like I said, I sold it earlier too before the takeoff, but I got in at 30 cents. So some great gains on that. Had like 400 plus tokens, which is fantastic.
So basically, this Metaverse thing is literally the movie The Matrix. That's what it is. They created a fake world to where you go put on a headset and you just go do things. And it's absolutely insane.
That's
that's
the world people want to live in more times than not.
They do.
Alternative reality. They don't want an actual reality. Hang on, I'm logging on so I can actually check the status of Sheeb right now. People don't want an actual reality of, like what's going on in the real world. If they can escape it, I think we all find a way to try to escape it. Facebook is innovating that, I guess, in ways that has never been
the
done.
Military, but either way.
Yeah, whoever you want to credit it to, ways that have never been done.
Dude, it's insane. I totally agree. People, they love. I mean, the internet, like they love, like just look at Instagram, how simple that is of just posting pictures and creating a fake perception of who you are. Like not everyone does that. Most people live honest lives, but they try to like make it seem like they're always having fun or like looking cool or something. And,
only happy times on Instagram.
Yeah. Only happy times. Never only happy times,
Nobody shows you. You only see the highlights.
Yeah. So, when you see something like Metaverse coming out, dude, where they like, oh, work from home. I'm telling you, dude, you need to watch this video. It's creepy as hell. It's fucking creepy. Go anywhere you want. Do this. And I'm like, you're not there. It's not real.
You're not here.
It's not real. Don't be duped. So I think they're probably just going to get a bunch of suckers to go in it and live their lives in there. And you'll probably just, I don't know, have literally the Matrix, people that live in the real world. And I don't know, hopefully you can still make a living without joining the metaverse. But, or like, what was the name of that movie? Ready Player One, like some shit like that.
Ready Player One. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't, like I said, I haven't really paid too much thought. Too much attention to it. I haven't really given too much thought into it. It's, I'm too busy with reality, honestly, to even concern myself with an alternative one that, like you said, isn't even physically real. But I think it's interesting. We talked about this before. It's almost kind of like if the human race ever goes extinct, it's because the human race did it
to themselves.
We did it to ourselves,
Like they chose to do it, not because of the climate, not because of food. It was because they were too dumb enough to realize that we're just
completely, advancing everything beyond our existence, and that's what I feel like that's like alternative reality or augmented reality.
Same shit.
All of that stuff is to me is a step in that direction of human extinction, because we basically are going to create, develop, evolve, our life into something that is just out of our control. But also what makes us superior to almost every other, living thing on this planet is intelligence. And we're finding ways to enhance intelligence, not necessarily in just humans, but in, technology and machinery. And that to me is how you just extinct yourself. It's almost like if a lion, like, in the jungle was like, hey, antelope, I'm gonna teach you how I hunt. That lion is no longer gonna just be able to go kill antelope.
Right.
Like the intelligence is the separating factor there. And so in terms of our superiority, and I just think if we keep, reaching for intelligence outside of humans, we're gonna no longer be the superior. So we'll see. But congrats to anybody that made money on that thing. What about the whole rebrand? Facebook rebrand? Like, it's still Facebook.
So
I in my lifetime,
here's what's interesting.
Like, hey, I was on Meta the other day.
Well, obviously, I think just like a simplistic reason is, if they want Facebook for what we've always known it for, is just like this kind of like a message board, basically. Like it's almost like you have your own website, you just kind of post shit on it. So if you're going to transition that to this metaverse thing, I think still calling it Facebook is wrong, because it's not Facebook. Like that like what we know as Facebook is Facebook. And if they want to keep the Facebook name, they would call it like Facebook 2.0 or something. You know what I mean? Or like, so I think rebranding it to what they did makes sense.
Well, see,
because it is so different.
I thought the rebrand had to do with like detaching the company from Facebook's ways in terms of when that. So like that was the initial reasoning for the rebrand.
Well,
it makes sense.
It's really funny how you have this Facebook hack, and then like 2 weeks later they're like, "And we're the metaverse."
We're the metaverse. That's what I'm. Yeah. So
so whatever happened there, wouldn't surprise me if there's a connection. Some shady shit went down, and who knows? So who knows what is Facebook now, if it's even the same Facebook of what it was when that hack happened. I don't know, but I don't use Facebook. I don't use Facebook in like 2017. Dude, back when I realized you couldn't go on Facebook and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go take a gun and blow my brains out," and like you couldn't say that shit anymore.
You can't say,
dude, like don't do that. Like obviously, you're not gonna do that, but it got taken over by corporations. You couldn't joke anymore. You couldn't be like, "Oh my God," like just say like fucking stupid shit. Yeah.
That's
so
true.
Once I realized that, I was like, I'm off this.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
and it was like, dude, it's
a restricted place, and it's not.
And if you scroll down your feed, when you scroll down your feed, it was just all people complaining about shit. And it's just like their opinions. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Everyone arguing with each other about nonsensical shit. I'm like, I don't care.
This is true. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's interesting is like when you log onto your Facebook, it's already like you're already in another reality, world through pictures, and phrases are like just, posts in terms of people, expressing themselves. And it's like a whole nother world in itself, like you said. And so I think it's interesting though. They're just the rebrand of it, and what that kind of means. Cause I think it's safe to say that like, they have the popularity of the most popular company probably in the world. So everybody, everybody knows of it, has one, has had one, uses it. Some places you can't even get a job without having one. Did you know, a couple class I took maybe last month was like, if you don't have, certain social media sites, it hurts your chances of getting hired because they think there's something wrong with you.
Like, that's hilarious.
Wait a minute, you're not on Facebook. Why aren't you on Facebook?
That company is what we call retarded.
Like, and that's what I mean. But see, and Tay, I say this all the time because it was like Instagram was just taking off, like 2014. And Tay was like, we were sitting on the couch, Treasure Island back in the day, heydays. And I go, yo, this is like, this isn't real. Like, this is not reality. It's like people scrolling on this and it's not reality. And he said the realest thing about it that like sticks with me to this day is he's like, yeah, you're not wrong, but to some people, to a lot of people, it is reality. Like that is their reality. And so it's interesting because like you just said, a company who's like, oh, I don't know, we can't hire this person. They don't even have a Facebook. Maybe that person's reality doesn't exist online. And so the fact that majority of people, and when I say majority of companies, kind of refer to that as like a reference point for hiring employees, clearly being online is more of a reality sense than actually, just being in real time, I guess, which is an interesting perspective to have. I've moved past the conversation of right or wrong in that aspect in terms of just like, I think it's, individually based on what you believe in and what you perceive as reality.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a right
is reality.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if there's a right or wrong anymore about it because I think it's all predicated on one's perception. So.
Well, we should just call the name of this episode interesting because there's a lot of interesting things you're saying. Because, if you're going to have to, like, for instance, if you're someone who's like excited about the metaverse or someone who isn't, but you might be forced to because your job or something, how do you gain access? Is that something Facebook, like you buy? Like, is it something that's affiliated with other like third-party instruments or gaming systems too? Like, how's it going to work?
Yeah.
It's that, like, do you just buy like Facebook goggles or something or glasses and then like,
it's a great question.
You're gonna go into like a room and just see like a farm of people sitting down with like goggles on, like next to a computer, like
AKA the Matrix.
It's so fun.
Yep. Neo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Morpheus.
Yeah. I don't know. I should look more into it. I really don't want to because I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. That's the thing too. Is like I don't care, but I feel like it's for them to make such a drastic. Yeah,
you don't see me in the metaverse.
For a company like Facebook to make such a drastic change, that's not. It's almost like you're gonna know about it even if you don't want to know about it.
Right, and it's like,
even if you don't care to know about it.
If you got to make this profile in the metaverse and like whatever's in there of your personal life, it's going to be way more intimate because like you have avatars of you and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like you can have this, what's the word you use? Like holographic type. It can be like a world you can bring things into your reality from it and vice versa.
Oh, like an alternative or an augmented reality.
Augmented, yeah. But it's like, so Facebook, metaverse, why should I trust you with my data when you literally make money off of selling our data?
That's why
it makes no sense. No one should want to use this. No one should want to use this. I know. It's nuts, dude.
It's crazy because I mean now, everybody, and when I say everybody, I usually am referring to majority. You kind of have to keep up in that realm of I don't even want to say politics, but I guess just in that realm that they were even exposed to the extent of how they were operating with consumers' data, right? Like if the average Facebook user doesn't know that, which I'm sure the average Facebook user doesn't, then like the rebrand is just like, oh, this is just something that Facebook is doing, and this is cool because it's an alternative reality. But like you just said, considering the fact that they were just, accused and proven to wrongfully use consumers' data prior to an election, during an election, and after an election, on top of that.
Yep.
and then they create basically a product where you can go and just, create a whole new reality with your own data. Like, why would you trust? I don't know. Again, what one perceives as reality is their perception. So, hey, I will say this: they're multi-billion-dollar company. I don't know. I'm sure it's up there. And companies like that, they don't usually do things without proper advising and proper projection. So I'm sure it'll work.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be popular.
Sure,
do you know how many people think that life can be better in a fucking metaverse, dude? It's gonna be not even that.
Very true.
Here's the thing though, is even if it's something that isn't popular, there's so much unlimited money behind it, putting it in everyone's face and to make it popular. And then all they have to do is just get certain institutions to gain access to find out what a bunch of people like, and then be like, oh, well, you can only do this if you're in the metaverse. So,
and see, that's what I mean. That's where it's going. So then humans become this might be a reaching extreme, but humans become extinct because eventually, ultimately, that phrase, you can only do this in the metaverse, becomes, well, you can only do everything in the metaverse.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So then actually human existence in reality is technically, negated.
Yeah. It's transhumanism for sure.
It's really strange.
Transhumanism for sure. That's what it is. Transhumanism.
Really strange. And I don't know, maybe this is, maybe this is just my immature side and immature mind. But when you look at people who run these companies like Mark Zuckerberg, first of all, what kind of name is that? Like Zuckerberg. Do you know another Zuckerberg? Have you ever heard of?
Because he's
Zuckerberg?
Not real. He's probably not real.
Thank you. And then when you look at him, they just look. If aliens existed, I feel like they would look like these people: Zuckerberg, Bezos, Elon. All these people look weird. And I don't ask me what I mean by weird. Yeah,
it's like their eyes.
About the eyes, the structure of their head. They look weird. It's almost like they've taken on a human form to, partake with humans. It's strange. That might be whatever you want to call it, but that's what it looks like to me. That's what I think of. I think of them as like even evil villains in movies that have factions of people, and they're just on the screen telling you what you can and can't do today. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Really, really strange.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, he got a nice movie made about his story called The Social Network, but that's 100% a lie. That's not what happened. Facebook's from DARPA, and he was gifted it and was the face of it. And that's that. It's just fucking fact. So it is. So let's tell you.
When you just pull out a left field fact out of nowhere, they're probably like nobody has ever heard of. Not nobody.
Well,
nobody that listens here has ever heard of. And when they can go check it themselves and be like, oh wow, yeah. Well, he didn't just pull that out of his ass. It's comedy because a lot of people are very unaware of things that are like.
Yeah, and then your next question from that should be, well, why didn't I know that? Why aren't I told that? That's that's when you just should be like, wow, I need to question.
I need to question everything. Everything needs to be questioned now.
Everything's on the table
because something like that I didn't know. There's a reason I didn't know it, so now I'm questioning everything else that you want me to know.
Yeah. Like the same day this program, it was called LifeLog. The same day LifeLog ended, Facebook began.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, never forget.
Yeah, I sometimes I just only where I'm at mentally in life right now. I wish I was there sometimes when this was all starting so I can analyze it. I was younger. You know, I consumed it as I was supposed to consume it at that time. I wasn't consuming it from a standpoint of what is this and how is this existing. I was consuming it like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is cool. Like, this is what, you know, friends of mine are doing. Like, you know, it was a thing to do at one point. And then you either, well, I can't say you do because some people I know that have never outgrown it, but like you either outgrow it and you just move on. You know, you outgrow it and you move on. Or you just, like you said, you start to question things when you were presented with, you know, facts that you didn't know before. So it's like,
I remember in like 2006 to 2007, when a lot of my friends in high school started using Facebook, and I was kind of like, why the fuck would you, like, we see each other every day. Why would I tell you what I'm doing? I see you every day. You know, what's the point of that? You know? Yeah. And then it wasn't serious though. Like I said before, like corporations got involved. It wasn't serious. You could just have fun. It was so different. It was a playground. It was so different.
I always called it the quad at lunchtime in high school. That's what social media has always seemed like to me. It's like where everybody, but it was 24/7. And before, you know, lunchtime in the quad was at lunchtime for maybe 45 minutes. Social media made lunchtime in the quad 24/7 because now it's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Who are you talking to? Who are you with? Etc. All day, all the time. And, you know, like I said, you outgrow that or it consumes your life. And it's like, you know, it's what you consider to be life, I guess. I don't know. So,
yeah, there was definitely a time. Yeah, there was definitely a time where I feel like it's like a cycle. Like, you get introduced to it and you don't know what it is and you're like whatever about it, then you start using it a bit, you enjoy it, and then you get like obsessed with it, and then at that obsession point you either never go back or you go back to like not caring, like using it less and then not caring about it.
Yeah, that's a great point though, because I always thought about, I remember a turning point in my life where first of all, I don't care to keep up with people I don't care to keep up with. Second of all, if I know you in real life, like I don't need to, you know, hey, when we catch up, but like I don't need to update you in my life.
Yeah. You know? People just need to feel important. You know what I
mean? That's a whole episode in its own that I don't want to say I'm fully prepared to dive into, but man.
Well, in all honesty, the coolest social media platform it was probably designed this way to begin with, but like besides like the algorithms and probably like all the bots on there, the fact that with Twitter you could literally
absolutely
at someone.
Absolutely.
That is the coolest idea.
That was the great. I personally, I still think it is. I haven't used Twitter in probably maybe like 5 years.
Right.
And when I say use it, like I think I sent out a tweet maybe 2 years ago, just a tweet, but like heavily used Twitter in like 5 years. And it definitely is the coolest because of like you said, what you use it for, where you could just contact someone.
Yep.
And it's just, and that literally is a message board before what it is now in terms of, you know, all kind of other things nonsense that you can do on there. Yeah.
Algorithms. And
when it was just a message board for you to tweet song lyrics and at people in them and at people that you like, you'd have somebody's number and you would still add them on Twitter.
Right.
You know, and like it was maybe just at our time in our life when that was a thing to do, it was cool. I don't know, you know, but because I do question how adults with lives and responsibilities have energy, time, or even interest in just tweeting about their lives and responsibilities. So it's an interesting dynamic. There's probably actually like some psychological behaviors that you got to study.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, again, social media, all of them changed when businesses adapted it. That's when they all changed.
The ad revenue that you get from it it became
too much.
It was no longer fun.
Yeah,
it was no longer fun after that. But what are you gonna do? That's business, honestly. So I don't know. I don't know. Like again, I don't know if you can even complain about it because that's business. Because from a standpoint of what we're doing here, right? You know, and if you're an artist and making music, you utilize platforms like that to reach people. That's what ads That's what ads are for.
Right.
So,
yeah. No, it's
from a standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. It would almost be like, how come I can't find a product, an artist I want to find on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? How come I can't do that? If it didn't happen, you would question. You would want to know, why isn't this here?
Right.
You know? So, but yeah, that's that, I guess.
Yeah. Metaverse. Won't see me in it.
No, not a shot.
And if you do catch me running through it for 10 seconds, it's because I'm doing DX suck it chops to everyone in there. Trolling everyone. Right through their meeting. I'm going to dive into their meeting right on the table, just freaking DX suck it chops.
I do got to look it up so I get some information on what it is.
No, seriously. I know we went off on like a tangent, but watch the video and you're going to be it's going to make you throw up. It's disgusting. It's the Matrix.
That's unfortunate. That's so
very unfortunate.
So unfortunate. Yep. Also strange how most of the time movies that we watch end up coming to fruition. That's also strange.
It's one of those things that they call predictive programming that a lot of people have cognitive dissonance to. But
when you use
it's hard to just to just say that's not real because of, like you just said, like you'll see things in movies. It's like they get presented to us in movies. So then when it happens in real life, we're more accepting to it. And not so we're not like, hey, this is weird. We're like, oh, well, I saw this in a movie, so it's cool.
That's a fact.
It's like psychological warfare.
Exactly. And when you use terms like predictive programming, you just are like, are you a conspiracy theorist? Like, no, I mean, I'm just like, I pay attention. I think critically for myself.
Well, also it's because people
and another movie told me, first Batman. Was it first Batman? I think it was Batman Begins with Christian Bale. You're no longer allowed to believe in coincidences. And when I stop believing in coincidences, like I'm not saying things aren't just a coincidence. There are some things that are just, quite the quinkadink. But when you don't believe things are coincidences, you pose questions that allow you to either gain an understanding, or find the truth, I guess.
Right. Yep.
Because a lot of things aren't coincidences.
No.
Nope. So no coincidence Alec Baldwin killed somebody on set. No shot.
Dude, I know. And I guess I wanted to bring
pun intended, there's no shot that she killed someone on a movie set.
I wanted to bring up a point real quick before you mentioned that about the movies. Geez, God, what did you say? Not predicted. Oh, well, so a lot of people, they're like, predictive program. What are you talking about? Like, I'm not programmed. Like,
yeah. No.
I think it's very hard for people to understand that not only are your thoughts programmed, your influences are programmed. You are so programmed that you don't even know it. The reason why I can say that is because there are things that you can observe in everyday life that tell you otherwise of what's going on.
Yep.
And you just disregard it, and you see it with your own eyes.
That's why
someone else is telling you that it's not happening, that you believe that instead of what you believe, and that's called programming.
That's why I said the last episode, the episode before, understanding your influences is key. If you understand what you're influenced by, you just have clarity. And like, because I think, like you said, it's like a negative connotation around being programmed. I'm programmed to like certain shit, to do certain things, based on either the way I was raised, based on influence. But if I understand those influences, then I'm more aware of myself, at least, and then you have the opportunity to break programming. Like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to actually think for myself because I understand that this is what's influencing me to believe that. You don't believe, if you don't understand the influences, then like you said, you don't even realize you're programmed. And so when somebody says, hey, you are programmed to do things, you're going to essentially be defensive about it because it makes you feel like you don't have control over who you are. And a lot of people believe that they do.
Oh man, I really don't want to bring this up because I forget the name of it. It was called, I just heard about it too. This kid, Nick Hinton, was on a podcast talking about, it's called the Sentient Project or something like that. I really want to, I don't want to speak too much about the name because I kind of forget it, but basically it's some place in like Europe, I believe, where they are literally building with all of our data, the current reality, but just in versions of ourselves. So like we exist in it, me and you, we exist in it. And they try to use our data to predict what we're going to do next. Yeah. And basically they can predict, and then they're going to try to, they can see outcomes and then try to influence in real life to do things.
That's like,
real. It's real.
Sounds like Captain
real
America
project.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's a real project. I forget the name of it. It's real.
A movie like that
sounds insane.
Told a lot of things, but that's a real thing, man. That's the and that's some like dark shit. I'm currently in it. See, I'm currently I got one more class before I I'm finishing up my master's in this class. Literally, this last class that I'm taking right now, we're talking about the engagement economy, and it's like wrapped up with bows on it when they talk about your data being used to better your experiences, because they want to accumulate your data. And this is the part that's wrapped up, like you just said. They want to accumulate your data, basically your online activity for the most part. So like you said, they can predict the things you like, things you do, the things you will like, the things you don't like, the things you won't do. And it's like presented in this way like, hey, this is good. This is good because it's going to make your life better, easier. And again, I'm not saying that that's not the case, because, hey, if I am on my computer and I'm shopping for something, and based on the things I've searched before, you're able to predict that I would like this new product or like a similar product, and I end up liking that similar product, that just made my experience better. I totally understand that. But like, what doesn't get, I think, what doesn't like get thought about, like you just said, there's a lot of negativity, in my opinion, with that type of power, being able to predict someone's actions online. That's a lot of negativity, because you can't, like, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Like, if you make a decision that is drastic and you were wrong about that decision, that's dangerous, in my opinion. I'm not talking about just, suggesting a sweater because I bought a blue one and you suggest a red one. Yeah, you can be wrong about that. I don't like the red one. But if you suggest something like, hey, we can't, like, I don't even know if I can give the extreme example, but I just know that there's something weary to me about, like you said, the collection of data to predict people in general. I think that's strange, man. Maybe it's because I've seen too many movies. I don't know.
It's some dark shit. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe I've seen too many movies.
But not like I wanted to make that point before, because you did bring up another point with the Alec Baldwin situation. Again, I don't know too much about it. I honestly don't care to. And honestly, like, I don't give a fuck about people in Hollywood, so I don't give a fuck. But again, I don't know who that person was and what their life story is and involvement in that film. I think they might have been a prop person or a producer or something. I have no clue. Someone who hears this probably knows more than me. However, all I'm saying is the simplest thing could be budget cuts. You had a bad prop person on working on the film that fucked up. As hard to believe that is, with all the fail safes, potentially could have happened that way. But it's like, okay, why was she in line of the shot? Who was she if she wasn't a camera person? Why was the gun pointed in her direction? Why was it not pointed at anyone else? And how did she get hit? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like,
there's too many questions for that to be a coincidence, man.
So I'm like, all right. So if there was a scene where a guy's pulling out, like, again, I don't know much about the whole situation, but I'm just sitting here thinking, well, like, usually in a gun scene and you're shooting it at something, you're pointing at someone. So there's someone else on set. So
fatally, too. She's dead, right?
Yeah.
She's dead. So killed. Like, that wasn't a. I don't know, and I don't want to cut you off, because I also think about this when I see headlines and stories. That's what they want you to believe happened. I don't care if it's true or not. And so, like, fuck, for all we know, Alec Baldwin might not even pull the trigger on the gun that killed her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it.
I mean, I think he did, but
he did. But I'm saying like you're only gonna know if you were there, and there's people who were there. You can attest, and you choose to believe what they, are attested to. But
yeah, you just say like we weren't there, so we'll never know. But
no, it's
we'll
just
know we're told.
Too many questions that like. If it doesn't make comments, like I don't want to say common sense, but if it just doesn't make sense, it just doesn't make sense.
I think it's like
you said, the gun had to be pointed at the lady, and again, you had to have like how often Alec Baldwin has been acting in movies for years.
Right.
I'm sure
he's in the Mission Impossible movies.
I'm sure that's not the first prop gun he's held.
Right.
So first of all, you know, like, hey, this is different because a loaded gun feels different. I don't care what anyone says. And again, if it's a prop gun and it's just holding blanks in it.
Yep.
Why was the gun pointed at somebody who's not even in the movie?
Right. Kill,
like that doesn't add up.
Right. Doesn't add up.
That does not add up. And it was just one shot. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a bizarre story that like I think it's kind of just like, oh, what a tragedy. And I'm like, that's not just a tragedy. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't an accident.
It sounded like a hit.
It sounded like, oh yeah,
that's what it sounds like, right?
Taken out.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I saw that, and it's like someone sent me that, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
That makes no sense, man. Makes no sense.
No.
First of all, one of the basic questions I have is like, they shoot real bullets on a movie set. I thought like everything else was fake. They have stunt men, and now they use real bullets on a movie set to begin with.
Even if like, all right, so it's like, again, I'm not in movies. I'm not a prop master. I'm not any of that. But if you're thinking, okay, like just firearm safety 101, check to see if shit's loaded. Check to see how many rounds are in it. But it's like, okay, even at the end of the day, if they are using a real gun because they want to shoot a blank for whatever reason,
all right.
I'm not around blanks. So I don't know if they look different than bullets. I'm sure they do, but it's like, shouldn't you know if there was a blank loading in it?
You would know.
You know what I mean? Shouldn't someone be able to then like,
and again,
you open up the chamber and you go, yo, that looks like a real bullet.
And again, before you call action, like you just said, gun safety 101. I mean, Alec Baldwin, I'm sure, is no idiot. Now, maybe we're giving these people way too much credit. I know. I don't know. But there's just some things that don't make sense.
Because like I said, if you're again, maybe we are, because if you have someone who's in charge of props and they're trusted in them and you're like, yeah, this is what I say it is.
You just take the gun.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, there is some percentage in there that has to be. It could have just been whoever was running props wasn't good at their job, fucked up. But then it's like, okay, even if that's the case, it's like, no matter what, even if like Alec Baldwin honestly shot the woman, didn't know that he had a loaded weapon. Okay, it is what it is. Like, but at the end of the day, how did that gun get on set? So find out how that gun got on set. Found out who loaded it and why.
And that's.
But you'll never know. You'll never know.
Somebody had to put a live round. Yeah, because somebody had to put a live round in, and then
someone had to put a live round in that. Find out who did it and why.
Me and my wife were talking about that. I was like, is Alec Baldwin charged with murder?
I think he is. He fucking shot and killed someone.
He killed someone. It's like, oops, accident. I don't think that's how it works. That's why to me it's just so bizarre, and it's way too many questions to just be like, that was a tragedy. In my opinion.
It's tragic.
I don't know. Yeah. I do wonder if he is charged with murder though.
I think I saw something that they were trying to, charge him with manslaughter or something.
Wow.
Which obviously, you have to go through the whole process to see if he gets convicted, but it's hefty charges though,
It says, so this is 4 days ago. It says that lawyers say involuntary manslaughter charges could be filed in Alec Baldwin's set shooting case. Negligence on the set of Rust. So basically, like you said, the prop. Wow.
Yeah, it's tragedy. It's terrible.
Negligent homicide.
Yeah, like that woman, whoever her family.
So was it a hit? So
all
right. So for the conspiracy that theorists that listen to our show and love conspiracies, here's the question that I would ask if I was one of them. I would say, hey, who wants to ruin Alec Baldwin's life? Who was the person that got killed? who does she have any relations to, has done something to.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's
so funny.
Because right now it seems like
conspiracy though. Right, but because it's like, because in reality you're just investigating.
That's it. That's all you're doing when you ask those questions, because like those are the questions. Those are the questions a homicide detective was going to ask.
Yeah, because that's a great point. What if Alec Baldwin pissed off the wrong person?
Do you have any enemies? Like you're a victim, they come in and say, "Hey, do you have any enemies?"
Yep. And then on the flip side, who is that woman?
Do you know anybody that would want to do this to you? Hey, did you have any relations with that woman?
Right.
You just ask certain questions, make the right questions. Again, you don't believe in coincidences, but yeah, I don't know. I talked about that for way too long and I wanted to. I did think it was interesting, but it's just not a coincidence, at all.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't care too much about it, but it is kind of, anytime you see something like that, you just raise an eyebrow, I can't raise an eyebrow, but I'm trying to. You just,
speaking of how wild is like the headline when it says Alec Baldwin fatally shoots woman with prop gun. Clearly, it wasn't a prop gun.
Yeah, they should just say gun. Yeah, should say she fatally shoots woman with gun on set, presumably a prop gun or something like that.
Yeah, because it's not a prop gun; it's a real gun.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What are you gonna do? What? I know he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been charged, which is also interesting because he killed somebody. So, hey, holy moly. Yeah, man. I don't know. You're right. We have to title this one interesting because there's a lot of things that are just interesting. In a short period of time that we last had a conversation, and
I know. I really wanted to, because I know we mentioned it briefly in the show, and not to like harp on it too much, because the Shiba Inu situation is so crazy. And hopefully we can continue to get like 2 episodes up a week. But like I said, bad weather through the East Coast, and have power for like 3 days. So
I was because I had it up the whole time we were chatting. The Shiba, and it's at an interesting spot. What's crazy is where it's at right now is where it was when we first discussed the episode Shiba Army.
Right.
That's where it's at right now. And it's
I know it's not the only altcoin you could allocate your funds in to make money. Like a lot of coins are making runs right now that you could make money, but when it comes to something like this, if you have a lot of people holding, you know what I'm saying? Like if a lot of people are holding because they have this marker they want to get to for their selling point, a lot of, like, according to the Reddit board, the SHIB Army, their eyes are on a cent. I understand mathematics are going to make it take a long time for it to get there with some help. But the thing is it's just not going to fall off like a mouthful.
No.
And I know we said that previously before, and we even had our own discussions about that as well. But, for like where I'm at right now, I'm still up like double what I invested, and it's technically dipped a lot.
Yeah.
It's still up. It's still up. So, if you kind of go off trends, you need hype and stuff, but it took about like, what was it? Like 10 to 12 days in between.
That's what I mean.
Shots.
Where it's at right now.
I think there's people still excited about it, still in it, and it's going to shed a zero probably this month. It really will. And then at that point, I see it both ways. Like once it gets to that next zero, I could see it having early success, but I understand the hype's going to come. Like more money's going to get dumped into it as people realize it could get to like a cent.
Yep.
And again, I know the mathematics.
They're going to
go by. So it's going to go up. I don't know how much further it's going to go until it hits like a wall. But I think just long term, having a chunk is going to benefit you. I really do. Because I do think.
See, like again, it's no different than if you invest in something else. Like we talked about it before. If you go put your money into something, you're not looking to take that money out in 2 months. in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? You just made an investment, and it might seem like a crazy idea because we're talking about essentially a useless crypto coin. I mean, first of all, we're talking about crypto, and that right there not being tangible has a lot of people, I'm one of them. Like, it's almost like you hit a switch and it's over with. So I get it.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I totally get it. It's a volatile, very, very volatile market. And it's like, but like you said, this is, I've been using the word resilient. And it seems like this coin is very resilient to where ever since the first time it took off, it does what it wants, man. It has a mind of its own. And when we were talking about it, I think it was sitting at the first time we spoke about it here. It was no, it was like 2.7, 2.8.
Okay.
And literally, I think a day after we upload our episode, it takes off on a joyride to 8.
Yeah, 8.8. I think the all-time high is 8.8.
Yep. And since then, we're talking, even then, that was what? That 8.8 was 4 days ago.
Last week,
right? Almost a week ago.
We're probably looking at like last Tuesday, maybe. It was almost probably a week ago now. Maybe Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. And since then, like you said, you kind of, if this was a gimmick, in my opinion, once it hit that 8.8 mark, you would have anticipated some type of rug pull. And it would have been,
it would have went like,
it should have went straight back down to 2 and 3. And the
because
fact
people
that
are holding it
7, the fact that it's still sitting at 7 is like, and without the hype, when the hype sets in, you can, that's going to take off in my opinion. So
yeah. Whenever the next, hold on a second. My iPad battery's a little low. Yeah, so whenever the next moonshot is, dude, I think if it's really sitting around this low 7s range, I think this next moonshot's going to go to 0.00015 to like 3, and it's going to sit in between like 1.5 and 3, and you'll probably find some stabilization in like high 1s, low 2s for a time being. But it's going to be there, and that's some crazy money for people, though. That's some crazy money.
I think it's going to sit. If it does shoot, dude, it's going to sit there after it has a drastic sell-off. Because once that zero's gone, people are about to see. Early investors are going to see a lot of gains that they're going to be taking profits on. I'm one of them. Once the zero's gone, like there's a lot of profits to be taken. So
for at least selling some portion.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to take profits, and that's going to give you a slight decline. But like you said, once the zero's gone, it's going to sit because people are going to be
buying at that point.
People are going to be buying it, and it's going to sit at 0.001, maybe 2, and from there next year, once it breaks to 0 next year, a penny is realistic in my opinion.
Because you got to think too is once it does sustain its new bottom that's above this next shedding of a 0, wherever that is, when you get higher and higher on that tier of that 0 you shed it off, man, those coins become so much more valuable to where shit. I mean, I just had it pulled up. Hold on 1 second. I just want to look at this real quick. So if it sheds off 1 0, you're 2 zeros away from a penny. It then's got to shut off 1 more 0, and then you're at 0.001, which is 1. So I still think I don't know how long it's to take, but I don't even have to get to a penny for people to like really
count. No, that's what I'm saying. 2 zeros, people are seeing 6-figure returns.
But I think, dude, you see it shed this 0. Who knows how high it goes and how fast? But if it can chill on that next tier somewhere and just have some slow gains over the year and then break through that next 0, man.
Well, and this is why, and we can wrap real quick because, like I've been saying, once this 0 is gone, I think it takes off because the hype sets in. Early investors, we're talking couple 100 million coins, 100 million coins, 80, 90 million coins. Early investors in that realm and up. When it breaks this next 0, you're seeing 5-figure returns.
Yeah. So for instance, just use me as an example, because I have 80 million. Like, I feel like 80 million's in the ballpark of like early slash, you know what I mean? Like a early on type investment. You know what I mean? Some people have more than that, but there's like, I feel like the 80 is like a marker where some people have a little less and then some people have more, you know, whether it's like 100, 150 and beyond. I feel like not a lot of people have more than like 50. I don't know. I would be interested to know what the average holder is of
the average holders right now.
Because, but basically, so let's just we'll use 100 million. If you have 100 million coins on this next zero that shades off,
10 grand.
It turns it into $10,000. That's crazy. And then you're just multiplying it by that next number in that zero range. So like I said, if it goes to 2 in that zero level, 20 grand, 3, 30 grand, 4, 40 grand.
That is, not.
And that's very real. And that's very realistic in that range for it to go up to those numbers at that time, because that's still another zero away from getting closer to a cent. So it's like this next zero it hits, a lot of people could see really good money if they leveraged it early on, Yeah. So I think you're going to see it it's shedding the zero. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And if not, it's going to sustain where we're at now for a long time. Maybe 6 months, who knows? But I don't think it's going away.
I put it to you like this. Dogecoin didn't go away.
No.
Like that once that hit a penny and skyrocketed to 70 cents, that's still at 30 cents.
Yep.
We're talking about the same type of growth without the hype just to get to a penny. So like the gains that SHIB is gaining is not going to disappear, in my opinion. And it's not too late to get some, not too late to get in.
Yeah, seriously.
A little more expensive,
if you don't have any,
like I said,
this isn't
$500 to $1,000 can make you some good money in about a year. I think some really good money. Your $1,000 can easily turn to 10, 20 if you wanted to. I'm not saying this is like this, financial advice, but if I were you, this is what I would do, and I can say that because this is what I did. So. It can be fantastic for you, but I'll go because I don't know if you went first. I think you went first last time. I'll go first on my heel here.
I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm standing on top of the hill where I'm not believing in coincidences. So the hill I'm dying on is coincidences don't really exist to me. I question everything. I question everything, and if it turns out to be a coincidence, cool. But I don't believe that they exist. I think there's a purpose. I think there's reasoning. I think there is intent behind a lot of things that happen in our current time. So coincidences don't exist on my hill. And that's what I'm dying with.
And I admire that because I agree. So where I'm standing tall on and not leaving is you'll never see me in the metaverse ever.
Wow.
Never. Doesn't matter if that's the way life needs to be. I'll be outside hanging out with my animals, my trees, my land, my physical things, chilling out doing physical fun activities. And that's where I'll be. So you know where to find me. I'll never be in Mark Zuckerberg's fake reality because he thinks he's some Sith Lord or something.
It looks like one.
But before we wrap it up, we should definitely remember to do our shout outs in the beginning of each episode. As far as having a podcast. The podcast is streamable on Apple and Spotify. It is on YouTube, Fake Friends Podcast. We do have an album out on all streaming platforms. Dark Days, Brighter Nights. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got some stuff up there, man.
Got a little
working
tiny
on
catalog.
Stuff.
Tiny catalog.
Yeah. Do need to lock into the lab.
Yep.
Create more content. Got a lot of cool ideas that we just need to execute and polish up. And then I think an episode we talked about that we definitely want to do. We have some guests we'll definitely try to get on with either topics we talked about or ones we haven't talked about yet. But I think one that would be cool that we should do, and I know we've both seen the movies a million times, and we just got to rewatch them just to kind of get the ideas in. But we should really do an episode. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I haven't had anyone talk about this. So if you steal this idea,
no.
I know you watch our shit.
Yeah, you know you watch our shit because we've been talking about this idea.
We're gonna do an episode.
Yeah, fantastic. We should have did it. We should have did it for Halloween just because of the characters, but
because of the weather and shit. So if we can have this where we can do it soon within the next like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Or maybe the next one. The character Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yep.
And Tom Hardy's Bane. Yeah. And paralleling their characters to our society and how basically, they
were right.
How people basically admire and love those characters, but yet when you get them in real life,
you don't like them.
They're shunned upon. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a really cool topic of discussion.
Yeah, we'll do that. 100%. If not the next one, maybe the one after, because I know we got some cars to talk about.
We got cars to talk about.
We got cars to talk about. We got female perspectives on shoes to talk about.
Yep.
That'll be fun. So a lot of fun things coming up. Fake Friends podcast.
Hell yeah. Only growing. This is the early beginning. We're gonna keep doing it no matter what. So no matter if this community is 2 people, 10 people, 50, 100, or up and beyond, that's what it's gonna be. And we're gonna have some fun and just keep going. So appreciate it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Hopefully some of y'all will be listening. And that's all I got.
We out of here.